Kunj Bihari Jaya Radha Jaya Kunj Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunj Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girvaradhari Jaya Girvaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girvaradhari Jaya Girvaradhari Jaya Yashoda Nandana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana Jaya Yamuna Thiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Thiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girvaradhari Jaya Yashoda Nandana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana Jaya Yamuna Thiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Bolo, bolo. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava. Oh, everyone. Oh. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Up, oh. No. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Oh. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Bolo. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Oh, Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jayam Vishwabhadaparam Sapariparajikacharya Satara Satasi Sivat. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. Glories to the assembled devotees. Glories to the assembled devotees. Glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Feedback. Om Ajnanata Barandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance. My spiritual master opened my eyes. With the torch of knowledge, I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Today, we are looking at chapter 2, and the verses selected by Balakrishna Prabhu And it's text number 55. And here it is. Join me with it. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Prajahati Yada Kaman Prajahati Yada Kaman Sarvan Bharata Mano Gatan Sarvan Bharata Mano Gatan. Okay, we can do better on that one. Bharata Mano Gatan Atmani Evatmana Tushta Atmanivatmana Tushta Stita Pragyas Tadochite Stita Pragyas Tadochite Shri Bhagavan Vacha Prajahati Yada Kaman like squirrels. Jahati Yada Kaman Sarvan Paratamano Atmanivatmana Tushta Stita Pragyasthaduchate Shri Bhagavan Vacha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said Prajahati gives up Yada when Kaman desires for sense gratification Sarvan of all varieties Parta O son of Pritha Managatan of mental concoction Atmani in the pure state of the soul Eva certainly Atmana by the purified mind Tushtaha thank you. Okay, Tushtaha satisfied. Stita Pragyaha transcendentally situated. Tada at that time. Uchite is said. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. Please repeat. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. And purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. The Bhagavatam affirms that any person who is fully in Krishna consciousness or devotional service of the Lord as all the good qualities of the great sages. Whereas a person who is not so transcendentally situated has no good qualifications, because he is sure to be taking refuge in his own mental concoctions. Consequently, it is rightly said herein that one has to give up all kinds of sense desire manufactured by mental concoction. Artificially, such sense desires cannot be stopped. But if one is engaged in consciousness, then automatically sense desires subside without extraneous efforts. Therefore, one has to engage himself in consciousness without hesitation. Somebody cheating over there? You guys. Without hesitation, for this devotional service will instantly, it's an old Beatles song, help one onto the platform of transcendental consciousness. The highly give me a D, 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 E, 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 V, V. Developed. Yes. Haribol. Here you go. The highly developed soul always remains satisfied in himself by realizing himself as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Lord. Such a transcendentally situated person has no sense desires, resulting from petty materialism. Rather, he remains always happy in his natural position of eternally serving the Supreme Lord. Jai. Namo. Thanks for doing the purport with me. Namo Shabadai Krishna Prasthai Vidare Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tadavani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharini Niravishi Shishanyavadi Pasachiri Shatarini. Jai. So the Supreme Lord is speaking, Lord Shri Krishna. The reference here is given Bhagavan Uvacha. It's not Krishna Uvacha, it's Bhagavan. The word Bhagavan comes up much more. It's recurringly there in the Gita, more so than the word Krishna. But it still implies the same thing. Bhagavan means the one who has all opulences. That's explained by Parashara Muni, who's the father of Srila Vyasadeva. He explains that Krishna has all opulences, and that's the literal meaning of Bhagavan. Bhagavan and Krishna are synonymous to one another. Krishna is answering a question. Arjuna's question was, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is merged in transcendence? In other words, how do I know a spiritually evolved person? How does he speak? How does he sit? How does he walk? I like that one. And what's his language? And you might consider that Arjuna's waiting for, give me some symptoms like physical symptoms. Physical. But the answer doesn't come that way. For instance, the first question is, how does he speak? Does he speak French? Or is it a Spaniel, person? What's his language? How does he sit? Is it, lotus position? Is it one leg this way, one leg down? How does he sit? How does he walk? And so on. He could have asked, is he cute? He's asking all kinds of physical situations. But Krishna doesn't. His answer is very direct, and he does get to the point. And he's talking about more the mental condition, the state of mind that the person is in, by saying that his consciousness is clean. He's not taxed by desires of sense gratification. He's satisfied in his self alone. So this is definitely the perfect answer. And we will see that the next answer is somewhat similar. Then for a novice, like somebody who's new in spiritual life, they'll ask, well, how do I know if somebody's really very, very pure, set in their, spiritual evolution? How can I really know? How can I know what's going on in the mind of somebody? So usually it has to be expressed outwardly, doesn't it? How you can only know if someone is really spiritually advanced in Krishna consciousness by what they do. Because usually by what is expressed outwardly is what's going on in the mind. Isn't it? You act out what you think. That's usually the way the operation goes. That's the mechanics. The mechanics are acted out as based on desire. People do what they want to do. In the end, they just do what they want to do. Just to put it very bluntly like that. And let's take the example of Srila Prabhupada himself, who he had a desire, and his desire was to come to America. When Prabhupada was making those arrangements to cross the ocean, to come to America, one gentleman who was helping Sumati Maraji, the lady who was from Juhu Beach area that had run the ocean liner company. This gentleman, he was trying to help Prabhupada, and he said, I know why you want to go to America. You want to go to America because you want to enjoy America. So he projected it, he was kind of teasing him a little bit. But Prabhupada did have a desire to go, but his desire was a little more coming from a pure platform. His desire was, I want to help the conditioned souls. I also want to satisfy my Guru Maharaj. He asked me to do this, and America is the best place. It tends to be the leader of the world. It's the trailblazing nation, at least at the time. So these were Srila Prabhupada's thoughts, and more. How can I know what's in Prabhupada's mind? But we know that he is very much compelled by the wishes of his Guru. I mean, you want to advance spiritually, you have to somehow or other align your desires with the desires of Guru. And, that doesn't have to be very complicated. The Guru's desire isn't very complicated. We're looking for simple answers here. We're looking for real simple answers. And the answer is that the Guru is interested in making a change in the world, changing the consciousness of people, making a cultural adjustment, like majorly, in a mega way, changing the consciousness from a worldly one to another worldly one. That's the interest of the pure Krishna conscious person. Shishi Radha Gopinath Ki Jai. Shishi Gaura Nitai Ki. Doing okay now? Yeah. Okay, simple answers are required. Sometimes devotees ask me, can you tell us something about Prabhupada, the exchange you had with him? And I admit, I never talked to him. I was part of a third wave of people that joined. The first wave was those people in New York and San Francisco. Second wave was another group of people. Third wave, maybe I fit in there, or a fourth wave. 1973. What do you think, Maharaj? Is that a good calculation? Anyways, I never had it. By that time, there was already so many people around him. And but I do remember walking in Chicago at the park at Lake Michigan with Prabhupada and a number of devotees. Vishnu Chandra Swami was there, Satsvarup Maharaj was there, Brahmananda Swami was there, and a few others. And they were walking around Srila Prabhupada, and I was somewhat straggling behind. And there was a cyclist, he came along, and he stopped. He stopped right in front of me. That's why I remember it very well. And he said, "Excuse me," and everyone stopped. Prabhupada stopped. And when Prabhupada stopped, everyone stopped. In fact, oftentimes when Prabhupada suddenly stopped, somebody might step on his shoes behind him because he stopped abruptly. Whether that happened at that time or not, I'm not sure. But in any case, it was a nice sunny day, in the summertime. I believe it was June 76. So then the fellow asked, "Excuse me, but can you tell me something?" And Prabhupada was listening. He said, "Can you tell me, why is it that some of you are carrying the sticks and some of you are not?" Referring to the dandas that the sannyasis were carrying. And Srila Prabhupada then said, "What did he say?" And then Brahmananda repeated the question. He said, he wants to know why we carry the sticks, Prabhupada. Why do we carry the dandas? And then Prabhupada said, "Tell him we carry them to shoo away the dogs." And the guy sort of kind of like cringed a little bit. He blushed a little bit and said, "Ask a stupid question, you get a stupid answer." And I remember saying to him, "It's not a stupid question, don't worry about it, it's all right." So it was an answer. It wasn't the answer that you might expect. Maybe you would expect, Prabhupada would go through the whole, well, this is a danda and it's got 4 sticks in it. It refers to this surrender of this and that and this and that. It's all wrapped up and it's in reference to a sannyasi who's a monk, blah, 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 blah. He didn't get into that. It was one of those light moments. And that's the answer he gave. And it's a good one. Nobody minded it. Maybe we need a little bit of humor at the moment. So that's what's kind of nice about traveling with somebody who's very Krishna conscious. You don't know what he or she is going to say. But it's always quite right and it's quite mystical. And so here, what Sri Bhagavan has to say, it's all very quite right. Who can argue? When a person gives up all desire, varieties of desire for sense gratification. When you don't care, when you're exhausted, either in this life or in a previous life, you said, "I've done those things." Like I have a brother, he said, he calls me John sometimes Bhakta Marga. So Bhakta Marga, don't you sometimes want to have family and something like that? And I just said, "Listen, Paul, I'm a monk, right? And I made a decision. I already was a daddy and a mommy before, in previous lives. I already did that before. I did it probably many, many times over. So I just want to do something a little different this time. I want to go single." And then Paul goes, "Oh, okay, to each his own." Anyways, maybe it wasn't the answer that he expected. But isn't life fun when an answer comes to you and it's not the pat answer that you expect? When it kind of throws you off a little bit. And it's wonderful when that happens because then it just, it's thought-provoking. Right? So, just to give a little more fullness to the answer that I gave my brother. I said, "Well, I've been doing those things before. I'm just, full of, been there and done that. Now it's something a little different." The next point that Krishna speaks about here, desires arise from mental concoction. You play out sense gratification, usually after having some contemplation in the mind. Jayato vishyam pumsa. Jaya, concentrate. Thought. A thought is there of an object. And you look at the object, you just look at it. Oh, okay. But then, that was kind of interesting. And you go back. Jayato vishyam sangaste shupajayate. Sangat sanjayate kama. So what happens in each successive phrase of this verse from chapter 2 is that Krishna's saying, okay, so you looked at it, now you're looking at it a little longer. And you're starting to get to like it. You know? Like a child, the first kid I ever met in Krishna consciousness, he would say, oh, Daddy, I want, he had to say, I want it. And then it would change it. I've got to have it. I need it. He had all these great words. There was a trail here. There was just a chain reaction here. So by contemplating the objects of the senses, one develops an attachment for it. And that turns into a heavy-duty lust. And then lust turns, usually, wherever there's lust, anger follows. Because you get frustrated. I can't get it. You get angry. And when there's anger, then one becomes a little bewildered. Your intelligence gets blocked. There's bewilderment of memory. You start to lose it. And your intelligence gets totally blocked. And then, as the saying goes, you bloop. We don't use that term anymore. Right? In the old days we did, right? Agni did. As someone, I was a new devotee, and so-and-so blooped. Bloop. And I asked somebody, what's bloop? Well, it's like the sound of, something falling into the water. Bloop. Because in the Bhagavad Gita, it says you fall into the material pool. And the word was used by devotees in the early days. It's there in Achyutananda's book, Blazing Sadhus, subtitle, or Never Trust a Holy Man Who Can't Dance. It's a great book. It really is great. And he was explaining, so the word bloop was going around in the temples, and Prabhupada said, bloop, what is this? So, from a simple thing like looking at something, a whole trail of events take place, and then you get totally caught up in, just like the story of Ajamil. He just went innocently to gather some items for the Yagya Puja, and then he heard some people rustling in the forest, and then he saw a couple. At least it's devotional. Okay. And then he saw a couple, and then he got very attached to the lady. And from there on he lost all his piety, left his own family, started a second one, left his parents, left his Brahminical lifestyle, got into, let's say, all kinds of illegal activities and antics and things like. He lost it. All because he just contemplated the objects of the sense. He just stayed somewhere too long. Hung around, contemplated too long. And there's nothing you can do about the billboards here are very interesting. And here in Trinidad, I must add. Like I've been, just really, they're just trying to sell some stupid auto part. And they have to have a woman with her clothes half on to advertise. Come on, give me a break. But I guess it works. Otherwise, they wouldn't keep doing it. People look at it and they look at it a little longer, and they look at every day on their way to work, and after a while they get convinced, yeah, if I buy this, I will have that. And isn't that kind of stupid? Isn't that kind of silly? This subliminal sexploitation that goes on. And it's got everybody on a hook. So in answering the question, Krishna is simply saying somebody who doesn't have any desires and who's satisfied in the self. So this is very internal. How can you know the inner goings on of somebody? It's very hard to tell, unless if you look at how they perform. And the face is also the index of the mind. Sometimes, are people good at reading faces? Are we good at that or not? Oftentimes you can tell. Like if some of these are, you can tell you got a problem, boy. But if somebody's quite jolly, I mean, either they're mad, insane, or they're just genuinely satisfied inside. And there are people like that. Find satisfaction in the self alone. So if somebody really has shanti inside, the word is tushta actually, satisfied, then it oftentimes shows externally. So the symptoms again are somebody who's very dutiful, everything's quite second nature, I like my doing, I like what I work. There's some people, they actually like what they do. And they don't have to say it. They just get right into their work. They get right into it. And I was very impressed. I remember as a kid, I was thinking about this the other day. It was in Guyana, and I was walking, and we passed by a cesspool. Like the stench was so bad. And I just went back like 55 years ago, and I was still seeing my dad, he was cleaning the sewage. He went way down in his boots. And I looked way down. I was just like a 5-year or 4-year-old kid. And I can still remember he was looking right down. And he did this really into it. Getting, like, I almost fainted, smelling the stuff. And I almost fell in. But he's right in the thick of it, pulling the stuff out, trying to clean something so the operations will be as usual, as normal, But some people are just really into their work, and it's totally admirable. I'll be very honest with you. And some of when you do long distance walking, and you do it day after day, you see a lot of things, and there's a lot of things that make your heart melt. For instance, a bunch of guys, they're working on repairing the bridge. Of course, the pay is really good, so otherwise they won't be there. But they're just working really hard in the rain. The rain's pouring down like crazy, and they're just at it. The engineer, everybody, like busy bees. That's kind of, gee, I wish our temples were like that. You know what I mean? And I remember walking through this old railway line, which they pulled out the railway ties, but there's going through the swamp. Some guys 150 years ago went through the swamp. They got peanuts for what they did, and they built this whole system so the train could go through. Now we're enjoying it as a walking trail. The Trans-Canada Trail, longest trail in the world. And it's, kind of like melts your heart just thinking about how people were really into it, They were really into their work, And what about sense gratification? I don't think people are very good at that. Our level of, let's say, absorption is so... Like in the Ramayana, recently we did the play of the story of Ram Leela, and everybody knows Surpanaka. We do this little theater arts exercise. We have everyone stand in a circle. It says, okay, we're going to be Surpanaka, the sister of Ravan. Okay, so she looks at Ram. You look at the actor next to you. Says, hey, you're very nice. And then you look over and see, and you go back, oh, Lakshman, because that's transition. So Surpanaka is like that. You can say that for Ravana too. He didn't like Ram, but he loved Sita. Right? So we're constantly shifting. Their interest shifts very quickly, like children, like toddlers. They go from one little object to the next. They come, oh, look at this. Oh. And after a while, they get tired of that, and they go somewhere else. Oh, look at him with this. Oh. There's so much in the world of fascination. So it's understood that if someone has parang drishva nivartate, experienced a higher taste, then all these other experiences are so much less. And therefore you can really get into it. You can get into your Krishna consciousness. You know, I found that sometimes our devotees who got like second generation devotees, some of them take things a little bit for granted. Oh yeah, the Krishna thing. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. But then those people who are out there in the thick of Maya, and they have full, incredible, in the deep, let's say, thick of the whole thing, and then they come, wow, what a relief, and they just get so absorbed. They take it full-heartedly. Sometimes that's what's required. I went to one community where there was a lot of political activities going on. People were not getting along. There were at least two camps, and it's just like, these are devotees. It's very disheartening to see these dissensions happening sometime. And one devotee is quite upbeat. He said, well, listen, guys, listen. You know, we actually, by words that were exchanged, that word is so pleasant. We actually hit the bottom. We're down at the bottom. Don't you understand? We can't go any lower. We can only go up now. We've reached the zenith, We reached the summit of our degradation. We ran out of words to say. There aren't any more dirty words that you can hear. So he made a good point. He's just taking it to turning a negative into a positive, So when we get our full of sense gratification, that will never be. When we get a good dose of it, we should say, something's not working right here. Let the buddhi kick in and let me realize I must take a different trail. I must run a different track. That's all. Because it's not working out. Isn't that the way we should be sort of analyzing things? When a thing doesn't work in one direction, you go another direction. That's all. After all, there's only two directions. One is the pravritti marga, path, and nivritti marga, path. Nivritti means the path of renunciation, which involves which is really going on the spiritual route. And then the pravritti is the path of sense enjoyment. The Vedas mainly deal with sense enjoyment. And maybe that is surprising to hear that. The Vedas mainly deal with how to satisfy different personalities of the Vedic pantheon. Recently I was interviewed on a radio show, and it was a Christian show. And they asked me, so do you believe in God? I said, yes. Well, how many? When I was Hindu connected, right? So they had to explain, well, there's many different aspects of God. I explained, you have God is a young man, God is a burning bush, God is a pillar of light. God comes in many, as the Word, God comes in as the tablets, God comes in many different ways and shapes and forms. So we have that too, just like you do in your tradition. So anyways, they sort of flipped that page over, went to another question. But anyways, the Vedas mainly deal with trying to satisfy different personalities. Your sense gratification, your selfish interests through different personalities. But what Krishna is telling Arjuna, we don't really have to get so into the thick of the Vedas. Most of the Vedas, at least. He says, Traigunya Vishya Veda, Nishtraigunya Bhavarjuna. The Vedas mainly deal with the Triguna, three modes of material nature. And that's not what you want, Arjuna. You want to transcend. You want to go beyond. The purpose of the Vedas is to know Krishna. Vadaischa sarabhayar aham eva vidya vedanta krit veda vid eva chaham. It's to know God. And to know God, it's how do you know? Which portion of the Vedas? The devotional portion. Bhakyamam avijanat yavanyash tatvata. It's the bhakti side. And that's not very complicated. It's not very complicated. Devotional life doesn't have to be that complicated. We don't have to be super analytical. I mean, we're talking about knowing these different states of Krishna consciousness. You only have to know a few things. Do you know what you have to know? 3 things. Bhoktaram yakpatakapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suridam sarvabhutanam gyatvam shantim richati. Any other cell phones? Any other? You know that the cells are cells. They're prison cells. Yeah. Okay. So you only have to know 3 things and then act on it. Bhoktaram yagya tapasam. Krishna's the beneficiary. He's the enjoyer. Does that mean I don't enjoy? I'm part and parcel of him. If I give to the whole, since I'm the part, I get to be part of the whole experience. Simple as that. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Maheshwara, that's sometimes referred to as Shiva. That he's got a big control of that. He has to do with birth, the Shiva Lingam, the Yoni of Durga, and that is one explanation of the creation of the world. And also he has something to do with the destruction of the world. Most significantly, the destruction of the world. But Maheshwara here is another name of Krishna. And it means he was the proprietor of everything. Krishna owns all the real estate. He owns all of Trinidad. He owns all the oil rights, whether it's right or wrong. But he owns it all. The oceans, the air, he's got it all. All the planets, all the real estate is in the hands of the Lord. Hallelujah. Suridam Sarvabhutanam. That means that he's everybody's friend. How so? Well, I would say that anybody who walks in to the toilet with you and tolerates it is a real amigo. And how so? What am I trying to say? Prabhupada gave this example. He was talking about the Paramatma. The Paramatma is in the heart of everyone. And we know that we sometimes go to the toilet, and Paramatma comes with us. You think you're there and it's a private room? Come, think twice. You're bringing God in there with you. How embarrassing. At least say, I'm so sorry, Paramatma. I have to put you through this. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. So Prabhupada talked, that's a friend who will even stick by you, like through thick and thin. Stench or perfume. And so Prabhupada was observing how people are really into their dogs, and they walk their dogs, and the dog will walk and then stop to do his thing. And the master, the owner will stop. Why? Out of love for the dog. Because he loves his dog. Right? So Paramatma is more or less letting us, run around on a leash. And we're running around and stopping once in a while to do interesting things. And he stops out of love. Right? With a capital L, capital O, capital V, capital E. So if you just know these 3 things, then Shanti Marichti, peace will be known, peace will be experienced. Not groovy peace. I'm talking about this inside here. Inside peace. And then one can reach transcendence. And it's expressed outwardly through devotional service. Now there are 3 kinds of devotional service. That's also explained by Kapila Dev to his mother Devahuti. And there is devotional service in the mode of ignorance, devotional service in the mode of passion, devotional service in the mode of goodness. Okay? And we all know which one is the best one. I don't have to explain. We all know which one is the most favorable. So, the attitude is sometimes, I got to do the RT, but I can't go out and help you out. I got to do the RT. Well, it's not that you got to go and do the RT. I get to do the RT. I can't go with you because I get to do the RT today. There's a difference, right, in attitude. Actually, Krishna consciousness is it's about an attitude. It's all about attitude. Have you heard about the Yabat guy? Yeah? The Yabat people? Yeah? Yeah. So there's, there's these people, you talk positive and they go, yeah, but, blah, 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 blah. And whatever you try to do, whatever you try to stimulate them in terms of positive attitude, yeah, but, blah, 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 everything's yeah, but. But you got to change it around. But yeah. You got to reverse it. So it's all attitude. How are you approaching devotional service? Is it a burden to you? Why is it a burden to you? Should be. Apply yourself and it won't be. Enjoy it. Enjoy your work. I learned that about walking too. When I first started to do the marathon walks, I just see a sign. Okay, Windsor, 100 kilometers. And you calculate, how many days is it going to go? I said, I can't. I start walking fast because it takes so long. Blah, blah, blah. And after a while, I just said, listen, Bhakta Marga Swami, will you chill out? You'll get there when you get there. Just enjoy the walk, man. Some inner self had to say, enjoy your service. Same thing with chanting japa. Like an engine. I got to get it done. I just got to get it done so I can get it over with. Just got to get it over with, When are you going to enjoy it? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Sounds pretty sweet when you enjoy it. Sounds horrible when you don't enjoy it. So let's start to enjoy. Approach everything from the enjoying something. Krishna's to be enjoyed, and then you will enjoy it automatically. Make it as an offering. It's not that you have to do it. We have to step over the line from Vaidhi Bhakti to Raganuga Bhakti somewhere along the line. We have to step over lots of lines. Just like I'm looking at you, there's one line, 2 lines. If I want to come to you, I have to at least step over 1 or not 2 lines to get to you, to shake hands. Right? We have to step over lots of lines all the time in our life. I remember visiting the Bhaktivedanta Manor, and I was chanting japa with the devotees in the morning during japa period, and I was walking on a row of tiles. They were much smaller than these. I think they were 1 foot by 1 foot. And I was stepping over these, this one row was going back and forth. And then I was so attached to my row of tiles. I'm just a visitor. I already claimed my territory. And then one devotee was chanting japa, and he stopped right in the middle of my tiles. And my mind went, how dare he step on my tiles? You mean I have to go around him? So you have to get over it, Even just a short visit, you get so attached to things. Yeah, but we do have to step over lots of lines. When it comes to walking, long distance is the same thing. Your body, your body has to change, has to transform. In the beginning, you go an initial, let's say, high because, I'm doing so good, Did 47 kilometers the first day, 48 the next day, and just flying high. And then about day number 4 or 5, oh my God, what did I get myself into here? But then you keep pushing, and then he says, okay, I stepped over a line. The body was really reacting, and negative, like, what are you doing, Like if the legs had melted, what are you doing to us? The feet, if they had a chance to talk, says, shut up, we're walking across the country. And you just have that kind of determination and keep going ahead. The sparrow's determination we were talking about yesterday. We have to be like that with our devotional service. We have to be very determined about it. Sense gratification, we have plenty of it. It's not a problem. We have the best food, we have the best music. Except for when everyone picks up the car tolls. Okay, how many people do you have in the temple room at the moment? There's 5 people. There's 6 car tolls playing somehow or other. And you ask, is it necessary? So that's not sense gratification. That's like, it's not even tapasya, it's like torture. I don't know if Krishna likes it. We have good food, we have great music, we have lots of smiley people, we have people who are dressed in comfortable clothes. I look at, Krishna, he looks pretty comfy. Like the Matajis, they look elegant, And it's comfortable, isn't it? The dhotis are nice, Just don't wear them on a windy day on top of the hill, And great philosophy. And philosophy is there to satisfy the intellect. That's also kind of sense gratification. It's a gratification, nevertheless. So we have it all, and we don't need to aspire for any more. Because everyone else is doing stuff out there, and there doesn't seem to be too much satisfaction. Just check it out with the rock and roll pundit. He said, I can't get no satisfaction. And so that's it. It's a kind of a burnout program, So now we will explore more. If you devotees wish to dive deeper into the symptoms of a person who's merged in transcendence, you can read on as to what to find in a highly developed soul. And it's just interesting the way that Krishna answers it, but along the lines with what we have received today. But we have to be like the lotus flower, and that's a symptom. Be like the lotus, be in the world, but not of this world. Let the water come down, let the water, let it roll down. Like even in the lotus leaf, I noticed that the water just sits like a pearl in there, isn't it? It's kind of nice. We have this thing called jewelweed in Canada, and in the morning dew, the water just collects and looks like little pearls, little jewels actually. So they call it jewelweed. That's the weed that you use in case you contact poison ivy. And then if you want, you take this jewelweed and you rub the juices on there, and it'll take care of your rash. So it's a jewel of a weed. Yeah. So, anyways, Maya comes, sense gratification comes, there's temptations. Just say no, say contraception, no. Goodbye. No. And, Maya will insist. But, I really want to, no. Which part of no do you not understand? N-O. What don't you understand? Close the door, put locks on it. Goodbye. And then, of course, Maya will come through the window. But, no. And then go through the chimney. But, really, close it all up. So, no. There was a song in the 60s. No. And then I went a pitch higher, just to make the point. No. I thought it was a weird song. It was a weird, come on. Do you remember that one, Mark? Yeah. No, you don't remember. No. So we just have to say to sense gratification, no. Get out. Or as Christ did, Satan says, get you behind me. Just get behind. You're okay, you're cool, just get behind me. I don't want to look at you. Just do what I'm doing. You just follow. Go for a nice fast for 40 days and see how we do. So we have to be good at saying no. Not every time there's an opportunity for sense enjoyment. Yes. We're going to be yes men to Maya. So, Hare Krishna. This is what we wish to say at the moment. Are there any additional, are there any true epiphanies? True realizations, like getting down? Or questions? From those in the saffron, those in the white, pink, blue, yellow, green, whatever. Okay, Rajarshi.
Raj, in terms of disposition in this world, we are the ones who have this tendency or this spirit of enjoying things other than Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're speaking about aspiring devotee, we're speaking about making this change.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about Maya, the difficulties, the obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
But in this conditioned souls, we do have a positive attitude towards, I want to be happy, I want to enjoy this. We know that we're not supposed to be doing this. So now, what is the approach of the conditioned soul aspiring? That I'm holding on to these things. I'm the one. Other people may be observing, but they don't know what I am entertaining in my mind. So what is the disposition, or how do we change our disposition to Krishna? This is...
So from the point of view of like newcomer-friendly person, like somebody who's newly getting involved in Krishna consciousness, how do they adjust? Is that your question?
Yeah,
how do you switch them off? Well, it's gradual, to be honest with you. Shanai Shanahe. That's a nice word. I don't know if anybody ever picked up on it. It's there in the Gita, Shanai Shanahe. Gradually, you just feed people, with this higher taste. And definitely the best approach is, here's something very positive. Now that you've clutched onto it, just let go of some of the other stuff that we don't need that now. Get rid of this and get rid of that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's program is that. Chaitanya is Krishna himself. He offers us a nice program. Parama Karuna Bahudvijana Vijay Gaurachanda Sabhavatar Sarashiromani Kevala Ananda Kanda. Give people this higher taste, and then it's easy. Now that you're grabbing onto this, you only have two hands. Guess you don't have time for a cigarette now, do you really? Because you're chanting japa or you're reading a book and you're enjoying it. So I think just in terms of helping people, just spoon feed them. You give them a little bit here, a little bit there, and that seems to be the method that works best. Just let them have another taste. So like people, they like to try different kinds of cuisines, Maybe you've never had Egyptian food, hummus. You've never had hummus before. So you try it and says, hey, I like this, It's great. Then you can give up some of the other things that aren't so good. Does that answer the question, sort of thing? What's the disposition?
I was thinking about in terms of devotees also.
Devotees?
Like, as devotees, we want to go to the next level.
To the next level.
But at the same time,
there are still the temptations.
I'm holding on. I know what's the process theoretically.
You know the process, okay. So what's holding? Disposition. Well, Krishna tells Arjuna, continue on in this practice, because Arjuna admits the mind is very difficult, obstinate, stubborn, like anything. Krishna tells him, continue on in this path, in the spirit of detachment. Continue on with the process. And you'll be very surprised to find out, I don't have to tell you, when you get a little older, just a lot of those kind of things that meant so much to you before. Because, I don't really care about it anymore. So I think it's just by time. I think time is an important ingredient in our Krishna consciousness practice. Identifying that Krishna is time. He says, I am time. Give yourself some time. You'll find that a lot of these desires start to just disintegrate that were there, that were so powerful before. So I would say I would apply some good dose of patience in this regards and tolerance, and just keep at it. Because you have to measure time in this regards. I'm going to give one good life to Krishna. You can put him to the test, I guess you could say. Listen, I'm pretty feeble. I'm pretty frail. But I'm going to give my whole life to you, okay? If it doesn't work out, I'm going to check out the other. There's purification that happens in the process. Dhruva Maharaj, he went in with ambition and he came out pretty clean. He put some time into it. And it happened very fast for him. So my answer would be, as they used to say in the Second World War, I think it was Second World War, it was Winston Churchill, carry on. Just carry on. Carry on with Harry. Krishna. And allow time to do its magic. It does work in magical ways, doesn't it? As time ticks. Every day seems to go by. The older you get, it just seems to go so fast. And when you're young, you have these desires of anticipation. Oh, when will I be like that rock star up there? When will I have that girl? When will I have that car to get that girl? When will I get the job to get the car to get that girl? And there's just all this lingering goes on. Just stretches out. So time stretches out. It drags out like to an unbearable level. As time goes on, just time seems to be more like a friend to you. So I would take time as your amigo. And just don't get too complacent, mind you. Still be very serious about your approach. And enjoy the service. Enjoy the service. Okay? Oui, monsieur. The monsieur in the class. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, how are you? I've heard about them. Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering, sometimes the disciples or the followers of Bishop and Sue, like Srila Prabhupada, almost all of us, right? I for myself, just try to imitate Srila Prabhupada somehow or the other.
We tried to imitate Prabhupada somehow or other. Oh.
Srila Prabhupada is the most famous.
We emulate his qualities, we like to.
So everybody just gravitate, just attend Srila Prabhupada.
Mm.
Become that famous individual. So I was just wondering, trying to get a Srila Prabhupada, for the fame and glory, something to watch up to me. I know Bhagavad Gita, I know Bhagavatam, like that.
Mm-hmm.
So is that also on the material platform as well?
Well, if we wish to be like Prabhupada because we want to be famous, recognized as a great saint, that's a little bit more mundane in our objective. Maybe that's how we start. We hope that we won't run on that fuel forever. We hope that we'll switch off from the gas and go to propane or something. In other words, what we're saying is that you wish to get purified in the process. You get consumed by the joy of the service. So, and then you look back and say, I wanted to be Prabhupada because I wanted to be famous, but now I want to be like Prabhupada because I want to get close to Krishna. So, your motives should change. For instance, many of us, we came to Krishna consciousness because life was pretty miserable. And then we came here as an escape route. And then after some time, after you've delved into the process, then you can happily say at the end, actually, I don't like coming here to this world again. Because I like devotional service. I understood that I'd like to go back to Godhead because I want to escape birth and death and the mysteries of life. And, hey, Prabhupada, I don't mind taking birth in your movement again. I know that there's some challenges, but I kind of like it. And I don't mind being a devotee again, despite difficulties, because I find it to be quite pleasant, quite natural, quite second nature. So when your heart changes like that, it's a good sign. So this verse has to do with signs. Show me the signs. What are the symptoms? So those are good signs. And Dhruva Maharaj was saying I was looking for singers. I ended up with some broken glass. In the beginning, I thought I was looking for a diamond. In the end, we did end up with a diamond. Is that okay? TK. Trust Krishna. Yes, Baru over there. Please don't tell me stories about China. Oh my God. And what people eat over there. Oh, please spare me. Okay. Symptoms of when you're living in the neophyte stage? Oh, leaving the neophyte stage? When you become more selfless. And when you are thinking not so much of, it's me and Krishna, but it's me and devotees and Krishna. Me and Krishna's devotees. When you include his devotees, that's how to get to him, is through his devotees after all. So that's a good symptom. It's not about you and God, it's more about you and the devotees of God. So when you start to work on your good relations with the devotees, then this is a good symptom. That's my simple answer on that one. Jai Shri Radha Gopinath. So what is the use of your devotion? Let's say, okay, the curtains have opened, and you're going, I must see God, I must see God. And to get there, you have to go cross a bunch of lines, like we were talking about. And you have to bump into this guy, get out of my way, bump, and hurt people along the way in order to see Krishna. What kind of bhakti is that? And on the other hand, if you're really very Krishna conscious, you say, I will let the devotees go in front of me. And I don't want to disturb anybody. They're more enthusiastic than I am to see Krishna anyways, because I love them so much. I have so much respect for them. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was standing at the Guru Dastamba, a woman who was much shorter, everybody was shorter than him, she sort of climbed on him, just kind of to see Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra at the column, and some devotees, they were just trying to chide her, just get down, that's very offensive, aparadi. And he said, no. She said, I wish I had her devotion. I wish I had her enthusiasm. So that's a symptom that we're getting beyond this phase of kanishta and coming to the point of reality, The devotees are precious. We shouldn't see any difference between the deities and the devotees in that regard. We have to see them as the same. Really. They're both divine. These are the servitors. These are the person who's being served, and there's an exchange going on between. There's oneness here. Don't break it up. Don't disturb it. There's a nice flow. Don't interrupt the flow. Don't stand in the way with your me consciousness, your selfishness. We're supposed to be not taking fish, and the main fish is selfish. Yes, bro. No, it's you, bro. You.
So many things. One segment is that the illusion of infallibility and indestructibility is the ego. So how to cross that ego? Because it comes between, just in what the Lord say, you're trying to be pure, and the ego, the trying to be pure. So how to cross the ego line?
How to cross the evil line?
Crush.
Crush. We don't have to be aggressive. We just have to love chanting, love devotional service. And the evil will turn happy. Evil will turn good. You can crush things if you want, but we take more of a soft approach. I want to turn everything from lust to love, from greed to enthusiasm, from anger for silly things to only using anger when it's needed. So we don't have to get heavy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't come with weapons. He's Krishna. He didn't come with weapons. Krishna came with a flute, but he also came with weapons. Chakras and clubs and just whatever was available. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came with his devotees. So just stay with the devotees. Hang around with them. That's how you change things around. In other words, do what you're doing. But if we think evil of the devotees, then sure, there's a bit of a problem there. You have to rethink. Adjust your thinking. Maybe the head didn't screw up. When you got up in the morning, some people get it on right. Think right. Think enthusiasm, positive. Enjoy the service. I get to be at the Mangalarti. Many people cannot make it. They have so many other obligations, but I get to be there. I get to chant my rounds. I get to take prasadam every day of my life. I get to see the positive deities. What a wonderful life. Break into the rhythm. What I heard rhythm. What was that before that? Sometimes it calls for that. Yeah, there's different moods throughout the day. In the beginning, in the morning, it should be nice and easy, And then you slowly build it up. When it's high noon, you can be as noisy as you want. And Saturday night, just blast everybody out of town. So again, it's a matter of being close to the devotees. Any other questions?
You mentioned that which you have already said, creation is a mental creation.
Mm-hmm. It starts from there.
And if someone pursues sense gratification,
Mm-hmm.
there's a great possibility that he wouldn't be satisfied
Yes.
by it.
It's usually the case.
Now, if someone is thinking about sense gratification, it is, and he does not limit it, at that point, it's
Right.
very difficult to stop the willing and the feeling.
Right, that's right. That's right.
So this is the point.
Yeah, so therefore, going to the shlokas, starting with dhyayato, contemplating objects of the senses. Try to avoid exposing yourself to the objects that will tantalize, And if you happen to cross by them, your eyes happen to cross by them, or your nose hits a Pizza Hut or something, just the smells coming out, or some fabulous doubles place, then, just say, no. No. It's got nothing to do with Krishna. It's got nothing to do with me. Again, just be very snotty about it. He's a snot bag. You just have to be very firm. You got to be firm in order to be soft. There has to be firmness applied. Sternness, firmness, isn't it? No, I'm not getting involved. Thank you very much. Try somebody else. There's lots of customers out there. I'm not one. Goodbye. Shut the door. Because we know from experience what it means to get implicated. It didn't work. So pray to Krishna that the intelligence will always be activated in those circumstances. That's what I would say. Anything else, Prabhus? Pitajis, Matajis? Maharajjis? So thank you very much. We will not see you for a while. Thank you for taking care of me and being so nice. And so I always want to meet Agni Dev, spend some time with him. We got blessed. There's nothing better than sand, ocean, sun, palm trees, and Agni Dev. And Guru Prasad Swami, and all the other wonderful devotees that made it happen today. Good. So thank you. Hare Krishna. So we shall, at this moment in time, close our book. We will move the microphone, slide this forward. We will come down, and we'll put the right knee in front, left knee in front. We will all go down, and we will say, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.